Hello! Good day to everyone. Okay, so I'm back again. Welcome to Mathematics Class Made Easy with Teacher Phoebe. So, last time I already discussed to you all about constants, variables, and algebraic expressions. Now, those are all very important as we go on with our topic for today, and that will be all about polynomials. So please stay tuned and keep on watching.
Polynomials. So a while ago I already introduced to you that we'll be having polynomials for today. However, dun lang muna tayo sa basic words that will help us understand all about polynomials. Bali, as in introduction lang muna, the classification of polynomials will be introduced into another video so that hindi naman masyadong congested yung lahat ng topics natin in one video. Okay, so for today, we'll just only identify and illustrate or differentiate those terms that may be related to polynomials. First, observe the following. Algebraic expressions. I'm going to flash or post different algebraic expressions here, which may be found here on the left column and on the right side column. So lahat na ipa-flash ko ay algebraic expressions, okay? So remember, in the previous video, I already introduced the meaning of algebraic expression, and the definition states that algebraic expression is an expression wherein it may be a constant, or it may be a variable, or it may be a combination of constant and variable. Okay, now on the left side, may I post the following: 4x squared. Then on the right side, 4x raised to negative 2. On the left side, I have here negative 2x squared plus 2x minus 5. And on the right side, I have negative 2y squared plus 2y raised to 1/2 minus 2. On the left side, I have here 5x out of 3. On the right side, I have 5 out of 3 times y. Remember, di ba kapag ang number at saka letter magkatabi, there is an implied operation between them, and that is times. However, we do not read it as times na, di ba? Okay, so I have here the square root of 9 times x. Okay, yun yung ibig sabihin nun ha, times x. And then I have here the square root of 9x. Okay, so all of this that you see, these expressions are all algebraic expressions. However, on the left side, ay tatawagin daw natin silang polynomials. While on the right side, tatawagin natin silang not polynomials. Okay, so what is all about polynomials? Ano bang meron sa polynomials? Let's see. The definition of polynomials states that it is an algebraic expression with whole number exponents. Simple. Dapat daw, ano sa Tagalog, yung nakikita mong algebraic expression, dapat daw ang lahat ng exponents ay whole number. So when we say whole number, those are numbers from 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, so on and so forth. Okay? Whole. So, ibig sabihin, hindi rin siya pwedeng maging fraction, hindi rin siya pwedeng maging negative. Alright? So, yan yung keyword natin. Whole number and exponents. Going back to the algebraic expressions that I posted to you a while ago, yung lahat ng nasa kaliwa natin, lahat daw yun ay polynomials. Yung lahat ng nasa right side ay not polynomials. Why? Number 1, automatic kapag may nakita kang negative na exponent, not polynomial na agad yun. Okay? Or, kapag may nakita kang fraction ang exponent, not polynomial na kaagad yan. Or, kapag may nakita kang variable sa denominator, automatic not polynomial na agad yan. Okay? So, bakit nga ba kapag meron tayong variable sa denominator ay not polynomial na kaagad. Kasi class, kapag may variable tayo sa ilalim, automatic yon. Kapag transform natin siya, natatanggalin natin yung variable sa denominator. Hindi naman talaga totally tatanggalin. Kumbaga, i-change lang natin siya wherein there is no variable in the denominator. Automatic yon. Magiging negative ang exponent nito. Okay? So, baka ma-shock kayo, ang y dito ay merong invisible exponent na 1 and kapag change natin to na wala, okay? Kumbaga, itatanggalin natin yung variable na y sa denominator, magiging siyang 5 times y raised to negative 1 out of 3. So, ang exponent ay negative. Okay? Yun yung, yun yung problem nito. So, not polynomial na yun kaagad. And also, kapag meron kayong nakitang variable sa loob ng radical sign, remember, I already introduced radical sign to you back when I discussed or posted a video about square root, diba? Diniscuss ko to doon. Automatic din kasi class, kapag change natin to, wherein remove natin yung radical sign that we have here, magiging fraction yung exponent nito. So, yun lang yung mga bagay na kailangan yung tandaan. Kapag negative yung exponent, kapag fraction yung exponent, kapag may letter sa ilalim, okay, sa denominator, or kapag may letter sa loob ng radical sign, they are all not polynomial. So, para masabi natin na polynomial siya, dapat positive whole number. Okay? Automatic naman yung pag sinabing whole number, positive yun. Whole number. Okay? There is no variable in the denominator. There is no variable in the radical sign. So, they are called polynomials. Alright? Yan. Okay, so let's proceed. Term. Meron tayong another term dito which is term. It is a constant or variable or product or quotient of constant and variables separated by plus or minus. What does it mean by this? Ganito na lang sa Tagalog. Pag sinabi daw nating term, pwedeng number lang siya. Pwedeng letter lang siya. Okay, remember the meaning of constant and variable. I already discussed it to you. Or pwedeng product or quotient. Etong product or quotient, in simple words, combination ng constant at variable. Kumbaga, pinagtabing number at saka variables. But, take note ha, itong variables na to, hindi lang siya letter basta. Pwede may katabi siyang exponent ha, or may nakakapit sa kanyang exponent, I mean. Separated by plus or minus. But take note, hindi kayo madalas, may times na wala kayong makikitang plus, may times na wala rin kayong makikitang minus. Alright? Depende yun sa given situation. Alright? So, in this case, I have here 4x squared plus x minus 3. So, in this case, yung 3 natin, this is another term. And I have here another term. Kasi, di ba, separated by minus and plus, and I have here another term. So, in this case, how many terms are there? Kasi, sinabi kanina na ang term daw ay pwedeng constant lang, like this one, pwedeng constant lang, ay pwedeng variable lang, or pwedeng combination ng constant and variable, okay, with its exponent. Nagkataon na may exponent dito yung x na to. So, in this case, we have 3 terms all in all. 1, 2, 3. Separated by plus or minus. So, ito yung tinatawag nating term. Another term. And another term. All in all, there are 3 terms. Okay? Now, let us have the numerical coefficient. Numerical coefficient is the constant factor in a term. Okay? In a term. Yan. Pag sinabi natin constant, remember constant? It's the number. It's the fixed number. However, kailangan para matawag natin siyang numerical coefficient, dapat factor siya. Ano ba ibig sabihin ng factor? Ang ibig sabihin ng factor is that times. Okay? Yan. So, usually, sa algebraic expression natin, hindi na tayo nakakakita ng x symbol for times. madalas magkatabi na lang yung letter at saka number or dalawang letter. Okay? Hindi rin tayo makakakita ng solid dot for our times, and bihira na lang din ang parenthesis as the case may be or as the case needed. Kasi minsan talaga kailangan natin gumamit ng parenthesis. But in here, pag sinabi daw natin numerical coefficient, dapat daw ay constant factor siya. Let's take a look at this one. Okay, I have here 4x squared plus x minus 3. Ito lang yung situation natin a while ago. So, ano yung mga numerical coefficient natin dito? Let's take a look at this. Oh, nakita nyo yan? And this one. Okay, so in this case, class, nakita nyo, kasi si 4 dito, it's a numerical coefficient daw. Bakit? Kasi factor siya. Naaalala nyo, there is an implied operation there. And ano yung implied operation there? That is times. Yun yung implied operation there. Tatandaan nyo lagi. There is an implied operation there. Okay? In between 4 and x. And if that is the case, therefore, 4 is a factor. Okay? Kumbaga parang gumamit lang ng malalim na salita. Basta times factor yun, ha? Agad. Okay? So, therefore, 4 is a numerical coefficient. And you may wonder, ano yung laman nito? Wala naman akong number. Wala naman kayong number na nakikita, di ba? Di ba? Parehas naman tayo ng nakikita. Wala akong nakikita, wala kayong nakikita. If that is the case na wala kayong nakikita, it is also implied that there is an invisible numerical coefficient there, which is 1. So, ibig sabihin, meron tayong 1 dito. Okay? Meron po tayong 1 dyan na numerical coefficient. Okay? Invisible lang yun. Now, you may ask, Ma'am, what about 3? Eh, di ba number rin naman to? Pag sinabi kasi nating numerical coefficient, dapat tandaan nyo lagi na factor siya. In short, dapat may katabi siyang variable. Okay? Kung wala siyang katabing variable, ang tawag natin sa kanya ay constant term lang. Okay? Constant term. Ibig sabihin, nag-iisa lang talaga siyang number dyan. Alright? Okay, so yun yung ibig sabihin natin ng numerical coefficient. Do not be confused with numerical coefficient and constant term. Okay? Hindi lahat ng constant ay pwedeng maging numerical coefficient. Kasi katulad nitong 3 na to, di ba? 3 here is a constant, okay? Which is a constant term. Kasi sa term na to ay fixed number na 3 lang yung nakita nyo. So therefore, it's a constant term. Pero hindi natin siya pwedeng tawagin yan numerical coefficient. Kasi kailangan daw, para matawag natin siyang numerical coefficient, dapat ay factor siya. Alright? So that is what we meant by numerical coefficient. Next, let's have the following. Literal coefficient. Literal coefficient is the variable factor in the term. So, kanina, kung yung numerical coefficient ay numerical factor, this time ay variable factor lang siya. However, you have to be very careful kasi hindi naman ibig sabihin na variable factor ay nag-iisang letter lang. All of the things found within that variable part, kasama na dun yung exponent, ha? So, let's have the following. 4x squared plus x minus 3. So, ang ating literal coefficient here are the following. Nakikita nyo, x squared plus. So, ibig sabihin in this case, eto kasi, di ba, I already discussed to you a while ago that there is an implied operation times there. So, therefore, etong si x squared dito ay naging factor. Ibig sabihin, tinimes siya kay 4. So if that is the case, it's a literal coefficient. Same also with our x here. Our x here is a literal coefficient because sabi ko kanina, naging factor siya ng invisible numerical coefficient here na 1. Okay? Now, here, you can see there is no variable here. Therefore, there is no literal coefficient in this part. Okay? So, yan lang yung literal coefficient natin. Now, let's have more examples. I have here the following polynomials. Okay? Identify the number of terms. What is the numerical coefficient for each term, and what is the literal coefficient for each term if there is. Okay, if there is none, of course we don't need to write it. Number 1, 3x. The number of terms is 1 kasi obviously wala naman kayo nakikitang plus or minus, nag-iisa lang siya, although dalawa silang nakikita mo, isang number, isang letter, pero combination sila, diba? That is good as 1 already. Okay, what's the numerical coefficient? That's 3. The literal coefficient, of course, is x. Okay, kumbaga parang tanggalin mo lang yung letter na part, yun na yung numerical coefficient. Tanggalin mo lang yung number part, that's the literal coefficient. Let's have number 2, negative 12p cubed plus p. So the number of terms is 2. The numerical coefficient is what? Negative 12 and 1. Okay, remember, ano man yung sign na naandon, that is always included. Kaya tayo may negative doon. You may also wonder, where did 1 come from? It's there, the invisible numerical coefficient there. Always remember that. And what's the literal coefficient? Of course, that's p raised to 3. I'm sorry, this is an exponent. Okay. And p, of course. Okay. And then we have number 3, 32d minus 18e squared. The number of terms is 2. The numerical coefficient is what? 32 and negative 18. You may wonder, ma'am, where did this negative come from? It's because, class, remember, may minus tayo doon, and that minus part becomes the sign of this 18 na number. Okay? So, lagi yun kasama. Eh, ma'am, bakit po yung plus hindi nakasama? Eh, diba, 1 here is already understood as positive, so you don't need to write the plus sign anymore. Okay? So, next, let's have, kaya ito naging negative 18. And what's our literal coefficient? We have d, of course, and e squared. Okay? Maglalagay tayo ng comma, ha? Why do we have to put a comma? It's because dalawang magkaibang literal coefficient sila, diba? Iba naman si p cube kay p. Iba naman si d kay e squared. So, we have to put a comma always. Okay? Next, let's have the last example. 4xy squared minus xy plus 5. How many what is the number of terms? How many terms are there? We have 3. Okay, bakit tayo nagkaroon ng 3? Remember, there's a minus there and there's a plus there. So, we have 1, 2, 3 terms. Kaya to naging 3. Then, okay, so what's the numerical coefficient for number 4? We have 4 and negative 1. So, again, saan galing yung negative 1 natin dito? It's there. Okay? There is always an invisible number there. And bakit siya negative? Kasi nga, may negative tayong, or may minus tayong sign doon. And remember, minus becomes the sign of the next number. Okay? So, next, what's the literal coefficient? The literal coefficient is xy squared, comma, you have to put in comma, xy. Ma'am, bakit po nawala na po yung negative dito? Wala naman tayong literal coefficient class na negative, so talagang hindi yun isinasama, ha? That is wrong. We don't put the just because nakakita kayo ng minus here in this part of the given ay automatic ay negative na rin to. That is wrong, ha? Wala tayong literal coefficient na negative. It just so happen na ang nakita nyo dito ay negative kasi nga, class, ay yun yung given. At yung minus na yun, automatic yun. Paulit-ulit ko sinasabi sa inyo na yung minus na operation doon becomes the sign of the next number to it, and that becomes negative. Alright, so I hope you can answer this exercise by yourself. This is just only an exercise, okay? You may try it by yourself. Identify the number of terms for the following. You may try to screenshot it for your exercise. What's the numerical coefficient? And what's the literal coefficient for each item? Okay, so I hope you learned a lot in this lesson. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe if you haven't yet. I hope and I wish you a good day ahead. God bless you all. Bye-bye. Mwah.